And I don't know if it was windy down in Tennessee for the Hearts there, but good thing they weren't here at Fitzpatrick's. It was windy today.
I know the soccer balls might have been going all over
Yeah.
the place, but the good news is that the winds have started to taper off at this point, and tomorrow that'll be a distant memory. However, the early sunset will be sliding in to take its place because we do fall back at 2 a.m. just a couple of hours from now. And we have a couple things to talk about in the 7-day forecast, but first let's look at some of those highest wind gusts for the day. So observed, we saw 43 miles per hour for the highest gust in Bangor today, gusted to 32 in Calais, gusted to 40 in Freiburg, Portland, and Rockland today. So at this point, though, the wind gusts have started to taper off, and tomorrow the winds will be about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so perhaps a touch breezy if you go out in the afternoon, but a big difference from what we saw today and yesterday. And here's a look at some of our high temps. If you're closer to the coast, temps got into the mid, a couple of upper 50s, got to 57 in Wiscasset today, but areas of far northern Maine and the mountains stuck in the 40s for much of the day. Right now we have a mixture of some clouds and some clear skies, but our overnight low temperatures are certainly going to be on the cold side as those clouds begin to clear out, and most of us will see temps in the 30s, even at or below freezing for much of the night. And then once we get into the day tomorrow, starting out with a lot of sunshine outside of the mountains, but most of us get in on a good amount of sun as we get into the afternoon and early evening. But now the sun is going to be setting at 4:30, so keep that in mind. And then as we start the day on Monday, we're going to start out with a good bit of sunshine, but we'll see some increase in clouds later in the afternoon. And that's ahead of two different systems. So they're not going to phase or come together, but we have to watch both of them then. So one is going to come in from the south and the other one comes in from the north. So as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, again, we see that increase in cloud cover. Then we'll see about 7 p.m. a couple of coastal showers from the low to the south, and then the front coming in from the north will start to bring in some shower activity to the mountains at about the same time. Then once we get to around midnight, western Maine is already starting to see some clearing, and then we'll start to clear out slowly of northern and down east Maine as we get into early on Tuesday. I think actually much of the day Tuesday will remain dry. However, it will be windy once again. So then when we get into the second half of the week, that's where we have another system comes in that has a lot of uncertainty to it. So for example, the European model that we like to use brings in this system a little bit later, mostly overnight Wednesday into Thursday, and has a much more direct hit, giving us a lot of shower activity and even some snow showers in northern Maine. However, the GFS doesn't agree at all. This system is a little bit earlier, coming in the early evening on Wednesday, but it has a very disorganized system, and it slides almost the entire thing to our south. So I think right now the best way to play this is having a little bit of shower activity, especially in southern Maine on Wednesday into early Thursday, but we'll keep a close eye on this system as it continues to develop throughout the rest of the weekend and next week. So we're falling back tonight in just a couple of hours. We can turn those clocks back early in the morning. Test your smoke alarms if you haven't done so recently. You do get an extra hour of sleep tonight if you're asleep at that time, but now the sun will be setting an hour earlier, going from 5:30 to 4:30. Marine forecast sees about 5 to 10 feet, and we do have a small craft advisory in effect until 1 a.m. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. A lot of sunshine during the day tomorrow, not quite as windy. We have that early sunset. High temperatures will be on the chilly side. Then starting out with some sun on Monday, then some shower activity overnight Monday into Tuesday. And then Sam, we do have a little bit of uncertainty in that second system of the week, but we are overall in a more active pattern, so a couple chances of rain in the forecast.
All right, thank you for tracking it, Dana.